Takako Miyabi from Japan, Johann Steiner from Germany, and Lindsey Johnson from the United States joined Revakatu Zedward, Latifa Shande, and Adrian Jackson from Tanzania on a journey across that country to meet with Dr. Goodall at Gombe Stream National Park.
I was very excited because it was my dream to come to Africa for a long time.
We here with Shane looked for the chimps for more than 30 years. To have this opportunity to be here, it's great.
Yeah. Nice to meet you, James.
Good to meet you. Welcome, everybody. It's actually quite moving to take young people out into the forest. Whether or not they see the chimpanzees is less important than experiencing that magic of being in a timeless world. Being with people who understand that world and can explain, it's a whole different set of values, really. And beginning to understand the natural world, I think it's taking us back to something which is still really strong in the indigenous people. It's a feeling of oneness with nature and a respect for all life forms.
We got there at 9 and there was 4 chimps there, and then they left, and we waited like a couple of hours for the next ones to show up.
The wait was worth it. Twins, only days old.
It's really interesting because humans now live by culture. We can make plans in our brain how we behave. We don't have to behave the way a chimp does, although we often do. We don't have to.
Yeah.
And that's, this is what I hope that gatherings like this, when we can all talk about our different cultures, and you realize that underneath it all, we're all exactly the same. We actually have the same kind of feelings, but our cultures make us sometimes behave differently. So once you understand people's cultures and why they do what they do, then it makes you feel very different.
We had been with her for 3 days, but to me, it didn't seem like it was enough. So I felt like I had a lot of things to say to her.
Latifa got her chance.
Morning, everyone. Good.
Dr. Goodall joined the students on the 2-hour boat ride from Gombe back to Kigoma. 2 hours they will remember for the rest of their lives.
You have a big responsibility, all of you. Just 6 people out of all the youth in the world. It's 0.0 from here to there percent. 0.000000000, all the way around 1% of the youth of the world, and you're here. That gives you a responsibility for sharing and spreading and working and persisting, and I think that the most important message for young people, the most important part of the Roots and Shoots philosophy, is that every individual matters. And every single individual human, every one of us, has a role to play. So what we have to realize is we cannot live through a single day without impacting the world around us. And what they actually do to make their world a better place depends on where they live and what the problems there are. And when they learn about what the other is doing, that's when it all begins to interconnect. And we all have a choice. Do we want to use our lives to try and make the world around us a better place, or don't we care? Because we're all in this together.
As they journeyed back across Tanzania, Dr. Goodall's words, her lessons about culture and responsibility, began to take hold. The students began to realize they weren't here merely to observe, but to participate.
Johann from German.
You know, in Germany you get a lot of information about everything. I knew a little bit about recycling and you know a little bit about everything. And I was astonished that these adults wanted to know something from me as a pupil from Germany about recycling, which is a very complex theme, not easy to explain. You take this paper you don't need anymore, and in the paper factory, they mash it up like a soup. I thought that I would not know enough to answer this question. Because you can't make from an old one a new one. You have to adjust some new material. I'm not an expert, but it's no problem for me to give you a more detailed process how they do it. I can ask in Germany, that's no problem, and send you this advice how to recycle paper. Perhaps I have to translate it in English.
Picking young people who have leadership qualities, picking young people who've already made a contribution so that this is basically their reward.
I hope you can get a number of people to stimulate more or to speed up the performance of Roots and Shoots all over the world.
And then, as a result of their shared experiences, knowing that they will be able to take the message back to their home communities, out into the schools, share it with their friends, fellow Roots and Shoots members, and that this kind of program might continue year after year, then I think really the entire Roots and Shoots philosophy will begin to spread in a very meaningful and very exciting way. And I'm very sorry I have to go rushing away now to the aeroplane, but I leave behind me some wonderful visitors from different countries who are members of Roots and Shoots, who you will meet later.
The year 2000 will mark the 40th anniversary of Dr. Goodall's ongoing study. But how long can she continue, and who will carry on?
Well, Jane Goodall will die, unfortunately. I doubt she'll retire, but I'm not immortal. And so we have to capitalize on my energy now to raise the funds so that these projects, which I believe in so passionately, can continue into the future.
In the summer of 2000, this time in Germany, Tanzanian students will get their first look at the technology and culture of a first world country, and will join 20 of their fellow Roots and Shoots members from around the world. The hope is that this international summit will provide the foundation for an ongoing international forum, a forum in which some of our future leaders will accelerate and elevate the world's environmental, cultural, and humanitarian understanding. Just as much as her work at Gombe, this will be Jane Goodall's legacy.
You have to give them a chimp hug. That's how they greet.
Yeah.
Each one of you write separately to me about what this meant to you. Okay, from your hearts, I'd like to know. Okay, that gives me more strength to help raise money to keep it all going. But the last word I would say to you is, if this is to happen, and it must, and it can, and I believe it will, we have to stop leaving everything to be solved by those out there, and we have to realize that the solution must be you and me. We're the ones who have to solve these problems, you and me, and together we can do it.